Hey everyone, what's going on? And welcome back to the channel. And this past weekend, like I talked about during my Ant-Man and Wasp unboxing, my allergies, just like so many other people, my allergies have been wiping me out big time. And this past weekend, it was really bad. And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to relax on the couch. And I watched 6 movies over a weekend. Yeah, it was one of those weekends. And the first one, of course, was Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. Now, let's get right to it. I heard so many negative things about this one, but I really enjoyed this one. I don't think it was bad at all. It's definitely the lesser of the 3 Ant-Man films, and it's definitely no Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But I still think it was a pretty serviceable and entertaining MCU film. And I think it's one that's definitely worth checking out. Paul Rudd, he's always great. He's always fantastic, and he really does a great job as Scott Lang in this film. And I really enjoyed it. And getting a chance to see Michael Douglas again, playing Hank Pym. I enjoyed watching this one. I had fun with it. Like I said, it's not the best of the Ant-Man films, but it's still pretty enjoyable nonetheless. Now, the next film I watched was One Missed Call. Now, this is the American remake. This is not the Japanese version. And I've seen the Japanese version of the film, the original, all 3 films to be exact. And the first film is still the best film in that trilogy. I'm not a fan of parts 2 and 3. And the American version, yeah, they've changed a lot of things in this one. I want to say it came out in 2008, 2009. You can correct me in the comments below. I can't remember exactly. I looked at it the other day, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And it definitely shows, it's definitely showing that, early 2000s CGI, it's not the best. Absolutely not the best. And they changed some of the kills from the original Japanese version that definitely it takes away from this one's still kind of creepy, but it hurts by changing some of the kills. It definitely affects this film big time. Like some of that CGI is not very good in this one, but I still think it was a pretty entertaining film to watch. It wasn't a long film at all, and it went by fairly quickly. Again, the premise for this film is, people get a phone call, and it's not like The Ring though. You get a phone call on your cell phone, and it's basically telling you the time and the date of when you're going to die. And people hear their deaths on the other end of the phone. And of course, it's a Japanese horror, based on Japanese horror. So we have our ghosts in this, and yeah, but definitely not as creepy as the original version. But One Missed Call, the American version, it's worth checking out. You can catch it on streaming like I did, and it's worth watching it that way before you decide to go ahead and maybe, seek this one out to pick it up and add it to your collection. But again, if I found it cheap enough, I probably would add it to the collection. I think it was enjoyable enough for what it was, just not as strong as the original version. Now, I also watched. I am a complete and total sap when it comes to romantic films. I love it. I have no problem admitting that. And the first one I watched was A Good Year with one Russell Crowe. This one does not have an American release on Blu-ray. So that tells you right there what I thought about the film, because I definitely would like to add this to the collection, but it doesn't have an American release. It's only, region-free releases. I believe there's a German release. And this one has Russell Crowe. He's in London. He's kind of like a stockbroker in London. And he's kind of an ass. He's a bit of an ass. And his uncle, who kind of like raised him, played by Albert Finney, probably one of Albert Finney's last roles, he has passed away, and Russell Crowe inherits his vineyard in France. And I enjoyed it because it's not just obviously he meets someone when he goes to France, and he falls for her, but it's not just about the romantic part of it. It's also him just realizing just how much growing up there meant to him, and kind of like bringing him back from being a complete ass. So I enjoyed that dynamic. He's kind of like going back and forth, kind of wrestling with himself on whether or not, how he feels about this, because he's opening himself up to this idea of not being a complete jerk anymore. And I really thought it was a good film. It's a Ridley Scott film too. And I really wish it was on Blu-ray. I can get it on DVD here in the States, but I would like to get, me, I gotta have it on Blu-ray. I would like to get that one. Now, the second film was a little bit different as far as romantic films go. And this was Chris Evans' film, and is Before We Go. Alice Eve is in one as well, and basically it takes place. Chris Evans, he's a musician, and he's playing in Grand Central Station. Alice Eve runs by. She drops her phone. Her purse has been stolen. She's trying to catch a train, get herself back to Boston in time before her husband arrives back at home. And somebody, like I said, somebody has stolen her purse. And it's just the events of the evening as Chris Evans tries to help her, find a way back home to Boston. It's not your conventional type of romance. There is definitely a romantic element to this film as the night unfolds. You find out more about these two individuals. But I thought it was good. I think A Good Year was definitely better, for me at least, it was a better film. But I still think Before We Go was good as well. Chris Evans directed this one. On top of everything else, he directed this as well. And I thought it was an enjoyable film. I think the ending wasn't the way I thought it was going to go, but it was still an enjoyable film nonetheless. And one that's a little bit tricky to track down as well. So what's up with these romantic films? Really, I want to add some of these to my collection because, like I said, I'm a sucker for this stuff. And I can't add them because they're not on Blu-ray. Yeah, kind of hard, when I want to add it to the collection. Now, on day number 2, because I watched all the other ones on Saturday. On Sunday, I watched 2 films, and the first film that I watched, disappointed me because I had heard so many people raving about this one. This is gonna be the new big found footage film, The Outwaters. You can catch it on Screenbox, the Screenbox streaming service. I was completely bored out of my freaking mind with this film. I hear people say, it has like a Lovecraftian, style to it, cosmic horror. That's not really my wheelhouse. But this one, it wasn't even just that. This is almost a 2-hour film. And I was bored. I was about an hour into it. I'm like, when is anything going to happen? I'm getting what the idea is. These group of friends go out to the Mojave Desert, to kind of, camp out there, and things happen. They hear, weird noises, and there's, somebody's murdering everybody. It just was something that was not grabbing me. I could not get into this film at all. I was really disappointed because I really like to find new found footage films when I hear about them. But this one is definitely, it really disappointed me big time with this film. Complete letdown. And the last one I watched was The Exorcism of God. Now, this one was interesting because there are some elements and some parts of this film that come off really, really well. I will say that our lead actor, probably not the best actor, but he wasn't horrible, but it takes away a little bit from the film, which I still thought the film was good. I don't think it was great or amazing, not the best exorcism film you're going to see, but there were definitely some differences. It definitely offered something a little bit different that you don't usually see in an exorcism film. And the way you take the name of this film, The Exorcism of God, you can kind of look at it different ways with the title. For me, like I don't want to spoil anything because it does have an interesting little, I don't want to say twist at the end, but the way they approached the ending to this. But there is a scene that I will say, this takes place like in Mexico, and there is a scene where 2 priests, they go into this jail, and it's a jail for female inmates, and they have all kind of been taken over by this demon. That was pretty creepy. The way it was done was something I hadn't seen, because it went from your traditional exorcism film to something that was just really creepy because everything was really dark in this jail, and it was just like the 2 of them that were locked in there trying to perform an exorcism on one particular inmate. And it's just really, really interesting the way that they approach this one, because some of the demons kind of like remind me like Deadites from like earlier Evil Dead films. But overall, I think the ending was kind of like where I kind of fell off with this one. It is available. You can pick it up on Blu-ray and DVD, but I caught it streaming. But it's just one I think that if you're interested in this one, check it out streaming before you do anything else. Just in case it's not, not for you, because it's not your traditional kind of exorcism film. It definitely takes a little bit of a different approach, especially at the end of the film, and it definitely wants to set itself up for potential things in the future. Put it that way, without really spoiling too many things. So, but yeah, 6 films that I watched over the weekend. Some were good, some less, not so great, but still, it was just it was interesting just to catch up and catch some films that I had wanted to check out in a while. Like I said, I was a little bit down and out over the weekend, and perfect time to catch up on some films, that I wanted to check, and especially on streaming, because there's a lot of films on streaming, and why not? If you had the chance, check them out before you buy them. Save yourself some money, just in case you don't like them. What if I had bought The Outwaters and I didn't like it? Ugh, that would have been absolutely horrible. So, like, subscribe, and comment to the chance, and I will catch you in another episode. Take care.